Hey guys, this is Jim K4YCD and you're watching FEP Labs Radio. So today I want to share with you some of the functions that I found on the Unication G4 Scanner that are very useful. So the biggest thing that I noticed about this scanner is the way sites and zones are set up. Now I'm hooked to an external antenna right now, and I need to keep this down in the camera frame and maybe not get blown out by the lights. So I set up multiple zones, and then within each zone, I can rotate the knob and change what I'm actually listening to within that zone. So this is the zone name on top, and then this is we'll call it a group name that I'm listening to, but each group equates to one knob position. So I can change between multiple groups here in my local area just by turning the knob, which is very cool. Now, if you're going to go out of town, you may want to have multiple locations built into the scanner so it's easy to change. So what we want to do is we want to change zones, and I've built several zones into this, and here is my zone list right here. So I have local Montgomery, Alabama stuff. I've put in Huntsville, and I can just move this by moving this little selector dingus. I've got Orlando and Dayton. So obviously set up for the three big ham fests. So for example, if we jump to Orlando, we click select, which changes the little red arrow on, which you can barely see on camera. We click save. It says it's changing it to the Orlando setup. And this is the zone that it will be on when it starts up now. So now I'm in the Orlando zone, which it says Orlando there at the top of the zone. And by rotating the knob, we can change, and it takes it just a second, we can change what group we're listening to. So there's Orlando Fire. The first one was, I think, Orlando County Fire Rescue. That's Orlando City Fire. Then we get to Walt Disney World Police and Fire. They have their own. They're on the same system, the same P25 system as the rest of Orlando, but they've got their own grouping on my scanner at least. That's the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And then here is the City Police Department, rather. And then we should have nothing. So that is the groups that I have set up in here. And these groups are a complete, however I wanted to orient it. You have 8 knob positions, and each knob position can hold 64 talk groups. So I grouped the talk groups together that make sense for that zone. And again, for me, the way I did it is a zone is a geographical location. And then within that zone, and it's blinking out of range because I'm not picking up Orlando's P25 system in Alabama. So within that zone, then I have multiple talk groups selected, and we'll switch to Dayton. You see it does the same thing. It says it's changing to Dayton. And I have the knob farther than there's anything programmed. So there's Dayton Police, Dayton Fire Department, and some of the county fire departments in whatever county Dayton is in. There's a lot of county fire departments on their P25 system. So that's a cool way to change where you want to, so you can have multiple locations. And then once you're in a given location, you don't even have to really look at it. As long as you know where this knob position is here, you can rotate through them. Now, if you're scanning a system, and probably, of course, while I'm doing this, nothing's going to show up. Here we go. So here's Montgomery Police Department. Another function is when you're listening to stuff, you see this hold button right here. And that lights up and lets me hold. Now I'm only going to listen to Montgomery PD Channel 1. That's it. It's not going to scan any other of the talk groups. It's not going to change sites. It's only listening to MPD Channel 1. So whenever that comes up, it's going to play it. And it's going to stay there in that position until I hit the UHOD or unhold button. And then it'll resume scanning across whatever you have programmed. Now this is This knob position, this grouping I have is strictly Montgomery Police Department, so everything's going to be MPD. And then, of course, you've got fire and so on and so forth. So that's another function that is really swank about the way this scanner is set up. To compare on an SDS 100, to change groupings that you're listening to, like I just showed you, you have to go into a menu and dive about 4 or 5 menu levels deep to change your scan list. And that's the only way on the SDS 100 to change scan lists. So this is a lot slicker than an SDS 100 in that fashion. Guys, that's it. That's all I've got for today. I just wanted to kind of share some of the cool functions of the Unication G4 Scanner. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post any new videos. Thanks, y'all. 73.